Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, Ontario Law and the Older Person. And it has been a few weeks since I put up a video. I will be resuming my one video a week regime, and I'm calling this video An Approach to Fighting Scamming Older Persons. Is it ageist? So this is one approach I'm talking about, and I do plan on making videos that have a broader approach to how older people are being scammed. I'm just touching on one particular issue and one particular approach. The information provided in this video is not legal advice. It is relayed for the purposes of general information. No legal decisions should be made based on this material. Any viewer who needs legal advice should contact a lawyer. We're going to be looking at a little bit of information from a Angus Reid Institute report, and I will be providing the link. This report is from January 2026, and it's talking about, as you can see, crime in Canada. 4 in 5 report fraud attempts, 30% say money or personal information was taken, and majority say that crime in their community has risen over the past 5 years. So this is just to show us where some numbers are. We're not really going to be talking about community crime. More than 4 in 5 Canadians say they have been the target of an online or phone scam over the past 2 years. For 30% of the population, this has resulted in the loss of information or money. Notably, Canadians lost more than 638 million in reported fraud cases in 2024, although only 5 to 10% of such cases are thought to be reported to authorities. And that's a pretty shocking statistic. And the common idea about why this is happening is some people feel really stupid for falling for these scams and they really don't want to admit it. While more than 80% have been contacted, 30% say they had money or personal information taken from them by a scam. These proportions tend to be higher with age, as those 60 years of age and older are almost twice as likely as 18 to 29-year-olds to have been a victim. Some of this may be attributed to unfamiliarity with emerging AI strategies for fraud, which have become sophisticated at modeling authentic communications from recognizable sources. So something I'm just throwing out there, again, this is from other sources of material that I will be referring to in other videos. Well, we know that older people are more frequently targeted for various issues, including they're much more likely to have money than someone who is 18 to 29 years old. So is this a distortion? Is this a lack of information? Always be questioning when you see this material because sometimes they leave stuff out. We're moving on to a CTV article, and this is what prompted me to make this particular video because this came out last week, May 8th, and it kind of combines a little bit of a reaction to the information that people have to that particular Angus Reid report and a little bit about how news media can sometimes be a little bit unreliable in the information it provides. Anyway, so this opinion piece is called Spike in Elder Financial Abuse Renews Calls to Designate Trusted Contact Person, and this is written by Dale Jackson. To stem the tide, the Canadian Securities Administrators is calling on registered financial advisors to request clients provide a trusted contact person to contact if they have concerns about a client's ability to make financial decisions or if advisors suspect a client is being exploited. So that's a direct quote. I just want to touch on calling on registered financial advisors. Remember that phrasing. Then I went to a online source from that organization, the CSA. And so this is your advisor asking you for a trusted contact person? And I know that's really little text on the bottom. Your registered financial advisor is required to ask you to name a trusted contact person. There are a number of very important reasons to appoint a TCP. The CSA strongly recommends that you consider the request. So why is the opinion in the news saying, they're asking advisors to do this when we know they have to do this? So again, that's just a little berserk button for me when news media get something wrong and it's so obvious, like it took me 2 seconds to find this source, so it's so obvious what is actually happening. So that's just me. More from that site. How would having a trusted contact person help me? Maybe your registered financial advisor needs to get in touch with you but can't when you're traveling. There's a natural disaster. I find that kind of weird. If there's a natural disaster, I think people will be unable to contact every single person they have using their services. But, anyways, there is a concern about fraud, but so what? If there's a concern about fraud, why would you be contacting someone else? It's just that other person might not have the right information. I don't know. I think this is a little weird. You having a health issue. Here's more information. Your TCP cannot make trades in your account. Your TCP cannot make decisions about your account. Okay, then what can they do? Being a TCP does not make them a power of attorney, legal guardian, trustee, or executor. So, what can they do aside from uh, track the other person down, the actual investor? I'd like a little more information about how they can solve a problem if they're not able to actually make any decisions. They also put up a copy of the form. Now, this material is a little old. I haven't been able to track down something that's from recent years, so it might not still be exactly looking like this. I'm going to put up the link, of course, but it's just giving us a little bit of information about what this trusted person can do. So, you're my trusted contact person. This form should be completed by you and given to your trusted contact person. When you might be contacted. I have given my financial advisor permission to contact you under these circumstances, and so the person can check these off. To confirm my contact information, if financial exploitation is suspected, so what can this contact person do? To confirm my legal representatives, if there are concerns about mental capacity or any other. Types of questions you might be asked. My financial advisor may ask you questions depending on the situation. For example, you may be asked to confirm my contact information if my advisor is unable to reach me after several attempts. Or if there are concerns about mental capacity, my advisor may ask you if you have noticed changes in my behavior. So, what does this mean for privacy? What if someone is engaging in different behavior because, for example, they are trying to escape an abusive ex? This is just an idea that came to me when I was reading this material the first time. So someone's behavior might change. They might be cashing out something or buying more into something or transferring something, and they're trying to do it discreetly. And yet, if you contact a trusted person, even if it's not the spouse, someone's private information might be revealed in a way that's actually dangerous to them. So I do have a little concern with the idea of giving this kind of permission. This is another article, which of course the link will be in the description. Canadian Securities Administrators urge vigilance against online financial abuse of older Canadians and highlights the importance of a trusted contact person. Older adults can often be the target of financial scams. Scam artists take advantage of those who may be socially isolated or have diminished capacity and who have accumulated savings over time. Advancements in technology, like artificial intelligence (AI), have created new avenues for criminals to exploit these vulnerabilities and deceive victims. AI voice cloning allows scammers to impersonate family members or friends in urgent need of money. AI can also be used to easily manipulate images and videos, known as deep fakes, to create credible personas on dating sites and social media, along with fake celebrity endorsement ads. And I don't know, I feel a little uncomfortable with this paragraph. It seems to be describing older people as kind of childlike, unsophisticated. What is a TCP? A TCP is a person you authorize your financial firm to contact in limited circumstances. Why have a TCP? A TCP can be contacted by your registered financial advisor to help you if needed. And this is a slightly different kind of language. What does this mean to help you? I don't understand exactly how that would work or what it's meant to mean. Is it someone you consult? Well, what do you need a TCP for this? Like, I think this one is weird. Who should have a TCP? A TCP is recommended for anyone who has an investment account, especially older Canadians. So there's always this focus on older people. This is an article from Social Work Today, and yes, the link is in the description. This is the quote. The exploited older people in their study had more atrophy and less connectivity in two key areas of the brain. One region signals a person when something significant is happening around them, and the other tells them how to read social cues, such as other people's intentions. So here we have a situation where it's not changing technology, it's not loneliness, we have an actual biological reason why this sort of thing might happen. A couple more quotes. The exploited elders had atrophy in the anterior insula and fewer connections from it to a broader brain network. The anterior insula signals when something salient is happening in the environment. In general, this area isn't as responsive in older adults compared with the young, particularly in negative situations. The exploited elders also had more atrophy and fewer neural connections in the medial prefrontal cortex, which helps us appraise social situations, such as inferring the thoughts or intentions of others. These are just some thoughts of mine. They're not from the material. Financial advisors are required to ask investors to choose a trusted contact person. The context that we're being provided with these various materials is that older people in particular should have a trusted contact person. Will financial advisors put more pressure on older people than younger people to make this choice? If so, could this be considered ageism? There are actual biological reasons why older people might be more easily scammed. Does this mean trying to persuade older people to choose a trusted contact person is ageism? So, something we have discussed in other videos, something that looks like a form of discrimination may not be because there is a genuine, legitimate reason for it. So, in this case, this is very important stuff. We're talking about investments. So, is this a legitimate form of protection that financial advisors should be taking on? It'd be interesting to know what people think. Is this ageism? Is it just legitimately pragmatic? Okay, and then here's a big one to me. What kind of training do financial advisors get to determine whether an older person is suffering from dementia or some other kind of mental health issue? I worked in a bank for a little bit, too long, but a little bit. And it was something that we were to keep an eye on. Do we have an older person who's making significantly different financial decisions? So, during my time at that bank, they clued into someone making extremely different changes to their banking, and they contacted a family member without any prior permission. So, on the one hand, it turns out this person was acting out of character due to this dementia, but on the other, this bank employee didn't have the legal right to make those choices. And in this case, when it comes to advisors, we've got the same situation. A change in financial choices doesn't necessarily mean that this person is suffering from some kind of mental health issue, but this individual, this investor, has the right now to contact someone else and might be revealing something that is actually very private and something the first person wants hidden. So that's just an issue. We have a lot of situations where people are expected to determine whether someone else has some form of mental health issue, as in dementia, without having adequate training for it. So I did a little digging around to see if I could find out what kind of training investors got in this area. Couldn't find anything, but it's something to keep in mind. There's this big rush for this kind of protection, but I suspect not the kind of training that should go with it. Okay, so that's the end of this video. It was a little bit of a shorter one. If you like this kind of content, it would be great if you subscribed and pressed like. Have a great afternoon.